Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another Marine ECM, this time working in a 7.4 liters MERC cruiser coming from Connecticut. Wynne Barrett, this is your computer. His concerns, which I will going to show you in the screen, is probably better. Actually, I was doing an update on this tool that I need to disconnect from here. No longer needed. Let me just move you. I have the computer connected, but I have actually the EST driver, or not driver, the ignition module unplugged because I'm going to show you it's actually shorted. It's constantly turning the coil on and the injectors run, but no fuel pump. But let me tell you, or let me show you actually the folder where I have his information. Give me 1 second. I don't have it open. Here. All right, this is the folder that I have. This is the computer connected, so you can see. And there I didn't have the EST module connected because usually MERC Cruiser doesn't, but the 7.4 that uses EST. Here we can read it closely. It's the family of this computer is a 16237009, and you can see in there it's a 454 7.4 liters. It says no codes. My mechanic said that there was no ignition, but engine, crank, and there was intermittent loss of signal to the fuel pump relay, which in here is not even running. So, or not even coming on. I have the history here, and I have, like I said, one full code, which I didn't have the EST connected, EST open circuit, but it was actually no other codes. The calibration on this computer is an FE2A, which is specifically for the 7.4 liters. We can see that one right here where I have it in blue right there. Let me make that a little bigger so you can read it better. FE2A. And the computer has 679.43 hours. For the rest, let's see what we see in diagram, right? So I have the computer power on. Just to show you on the distance, the IAC is on. We have the 5-volt reference and sensor ground. The computer actually talks, which is good, at least that part. So let me put the diagram on the screen and the picoscope. So I have right now connected. I'm going to show you again the same information that I show you in the diagnostics. So that's the FE2A calibration and the hours. So you can see that this is indeed the same computer. Values, I have 165.2 coolant temperature, 85.6 on the air temperature sensor, and I need to adjust the map because I have it at 11.7, and I like to use 12.6, 12.7. That's fine. Let's see what is the throttle, which is a little high. Let me close this one. 1 second, because if I open multiple, then you cannot see. Let me adjust the throttle. I think the throttle is the first one, yeah. 8 to 10%, that's what I like to keep it. And as you see right now, the Mark 50, I had to remove the sticker that I had on the top because it was just peeling off, and that would drive me crazy. So now I have to remember where everything is because it's in black and it's hard to see, but it's not really that hard to figure out. All right, so we have 5-volt reference. Everything is working good. It looks like we have one full code. Let me see what is code. ESC has an, oh yeah, it has an open circuit because I have it disconnected. So that will persist, and I'm going to show you why it's happening that. So keep an eye here. I'm going to inject the RPM. So you can see, well, right now it's not running the injectors. Why is that? I can see almost an activation for the coil. It's because I have the EST disconnected. Maybe it is. Let me plug that in. I'm going to turn the computer off. Oh, that's weird. It runs for a second. Injectors, which is weird. So let me connect the let me do the connections. I'll be right back. With the complete connection, I get instantly a light for the coil, which shouldn't. Why is this not focusing? Now it's focused. But let's see if now the injector run. And yes, the injectors now are running. You see that? But no fuel pump, and the coil is constantly on. And that's what you see in the green channel. I have, you know, in the bottom of your screen, that is the oscilloscope. I have blue is injector bank A, Red is injector bank B, which is for 4 injectors, right? This is a B8. And then the green should be the coil firing, but now it's steadily. That's why that is a flat line, because it's commanded on all the time. And that is no good. So I'm just going to change the RPMs a little bit to see what it does. Let me actually put the values in there so you can see that. To see if the the IAC moves. Let me see where the IAC is. IAC position is stuck in 150. Let me see if I change in the throttle. Yeah, the IAC is in 150 there. 7.4, it might need more RPM to start moving the IAC gas. Now it's now moving. I hope that you saw that. It went out like quickly to 30% or 30 steps, and that is moving it because I was doing an acceleration. You see right there, it's moving, and I can see the light. So the IAC is actually working, so that is not a problem, and that's the only reason I was doing that. I wanted to see if the IAC actually reacts to RPMs and to throttle, and it is doing it. But we can definitely reproduce your concerns here, Wynne. We have definitely a shorter coil driver, or inside the computer, the confirmation, and no fuel pump. So I'm going to turn the RPMs off. And I'm going to go over to the, give me 1 second, guys. No, I'm not going to take that call because I'm not even sure if it's just a spam. In the test, we can do the oil pump. Let me see, yeah, fuel pump is J123. Make sure that that is exactly what I have in here, J123, yeah, fuel pump relay. Let's see if we can command it on. And it's being commanded on, but nothing is happening. And we can see that, you can see that in there. And I'm going to show you that that is indeed correct, connected correctly. Let me get a wire here. Because I did a new setup in here to remove some of the wires that I was having on the relay to make sure that this is all connected right. The computer should be providing ground on this signal. If everything is connected fine in my relay, this should light up when I touch the ground. And it does, you see? You see, everything is good. So my connections are fine, but there is no activation whatsoever of the fuel pump. So we can definitely reproduce these concerns. I'm going to turn this off because it's definitely shorted. And let me open it up and see what I see. But so far, we definitely can reproduce your concerns, Wynne. Let me see if this can be repaired or not. All right, guys, let me open the computer and I'll be right back. Hey guys, so well, I think I got very good news for Wynne. Yep, I think this computer is definitely repaired. So let's do a test, all right? So I have it it's still open. This is for him and you guys also to see the part number on this one. Well, it's a little hard to see the original. I mean, not original. The unique digits are letter A 0003 4908, and I just put this mark in myself. It's a little blurry to see the part number, but he will know that this is his computer, and this is so he can see that this is his computer open. All right, so let's get the picoscope and the diacom in here. We're going to do, well, first thing, let's power it on. So battery power. Oh, I had the signal. I had the cranking positions. There's a signal going on. Well, you can see the fuel pump now coming on, and you can see this is the cable connected to the fuel pump from the computer. Now we have a signal on the green channel, and both injectors were working fine, but definitely it was a completely short computer. So this is actually great news. Let me get the diacom to go back into here. I am now connected. Battery voltage is looking really good in 13.7. That is for you guys to see the battery voltage. The RPM is 679. I'm going to turn the RPM off, and we need to expect, or we will expect the pump to go off. That is exactly what it's supposed to do. Now let's do the test that I was doing when I left you first, because for you it's probably a blink of an eye. For me it's been a couple of hours. So let's do the fuel pump J123 activation. And now we can see how now it's being on and off. Let me move this a little bit of the way so the cables are not in the way. But yeah, it is going to activate it on and off. It's not going to stay on, but you can see that when I do that and the red button is on, the fuel pump is being now fully commanded on, which definitely wasn't working. So this is 100% repair. Let's reconnect to the computer, and now let's run it once again. And instantly fuel pump, instantly coil. So yeah, I know this is a short video, and sometimes I know you guys, my followers, want to see more, and people from other repair facilities that will love to see what I'm fixing, because this is my secret sauce. So the reason of these videos is I'm trying to show the transparency of my repairs, not just only showing the computer running. I'm also showing the before, which is very unique. No other company in the world does what I do, which is reproducing the customer concern and then recommending a repair. Because if I check the computer and at least in here works fine, well, then what am I repairing? And sometimes I get bit by that, because customer, oh, you told me the computer was good. Well, yes and no. I told you that I could not reproduce your concerns, and here your computer works fine. Sometimes it's little things that I cannot reproduce, loads, something shorting that in here is not. And I try to minimize those at the maximum. But if I cannot reproduce your concerns, I will not perform a repair, because I don't want to marry myself to a problem that I cannot reproduce. Like in this case with Wynne Computer, I saw no fuel pump and no coil activation. That's why I put the oscilloscope in the green channel. I have the 3 channels here connected, blue, red to the injectors, and then the green to the coils. And we can now see it working. So now I can increase the RPMs. You're not seeing the RPM, so let me put the pit in there. Not that one, that's the desire. All right, so we're going in 1800 RPMs. Sorry, I had to go and get a customer was coming to pick up his cluster. All right, so let's go up to 4,000 or so RPMs as I did before. 4,200. I'm going to change the throttle around, 25, 30%. That's fine. And then let me move the map to around 21% or 21 inches of mercury. That would change the injection millisecond. But my main concern in here, what I really want to show is that the signals will stay. So we have coils, we have injectors, everything is working good, and we have the activation of the coil, which is very important, because before it was a flat line. And it was not a flat line open, it was a flat line shorted, so that could cook the coil. So when I would recommend you to replace that coil, because it most likely is burned, and that could damage your computer. All right, but for the rest, looking really good. So let's go back now to idle one more time. 650, that's what I normally use. Let's bring the throttle down. And then the map down to the 12.7 or so. These knobs are so small, they're hard to perfectly put them in place, but everything is perfect. So we have nothing, no issues. Let me get that full code erase. All right, so let's turn the computer back off. Wait for that fuel pump to close the relay, right? Oh, you cannot see it from there. So let me move the view here. All right, one more time, ignition. Sorry, not there. I have to actually run it, sorry. And we can see the fuel pump relay closing every single time. RPMs are good, coil firing, all good to go. So yeah, this is just an extra test for me. I always like to stress the test. Make sure that when Wynne connects this to his boat, is a nice start, and then he gives me a good review. Please, if I help you in the past with any repairs, the most you can help my business is by leaving me a review, and just look for Mike Salazar Diagnostics in Google and you leave me a review in there. That will really help me. Otherwise, if you're just a subscriber or you are just watching this video and you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. That is the other way that you really can help me a lot, is every time you subscribe, YouTube promotes more and more my videos, and that's how you find me. It's also for free, so thank you so much if you do so. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.